All right, in this lesson, we are going to start to get to know your community, aka your customers, by going over demographics and psychographics. I'm going to go over what each of these terms mean and how to define them for your specific customers and community. But before we dig into that, I really want to encourage you to only pick one main community or audience to begin. So what I see a lot of the time is for creatives who are starting their business, we have so many ideas and we have so many types of people that we want to serve. And when I say types of people, I don't mean like different types of human beings. I mean like we want to license our work with a company. So that company is one customer. But we also want to sell our work to individual consumers like our family and our friends and people who would buy our art for their home. And maybe we want to teach another type of customer how to create their own painting. So right there you have basically three different audiences. So what I really want you to encourage from the get-go right now is just pick one main community to start with, and you can always grow out from there. So again, coming back to the garden dinner analogy, when you think about this, right now you have one table set up in your beautiful creative business ecosystem garden where your one main community is going to come to sit. Now, over time, as you build out more infrastructure in this garden, as you plant more products, plant more ideas, and plant more seedlings to grow over time, you can add more tables to the garden to get more communities into that space. But for right now, just pick one to start because that will help to prevent the overwhelm. And when we move into defining your products, it'll really help you to focus and hone in on what you're offering right now. Again, remember that at this stage in your business, I know there's a ton of ideas, a ton of things you want to explore and do. As you think about your options, as you think about ideas, you can add the words right now to the end of anything to remember that things evolve and change over time, and this is what you're choosing in the moment. But choosing one audience is going to be the catalyst to learn more and more quickly to move forward more efficiently in your business. All right, with that said, let's get started. So, to define your community, to get to know who it is that you're serving on a really deep level, we're going to go over demographics and psychographics. Now, just to give you a bird's eye overview of the difference between these two, demographics refers to statistical data, so things like age, gender, income, those kinds of things about a person. And psychographics refers to information about a particular person's attitude, their aspiration, the way they see life, and other psychological facts and things about how they move through the world. Now, oftentimes when we're taught about creating an ideal customer avatar, first of all, we got to get real. We got to get beyond just the avatar and get talking to people. So I'm going to cover that later in this module. But oftentimes when we're taught to define our ideal customer avatar, it only goes to the length of demographics. It only says get to know at what age they are, what their income level is, what their gender is. Like those really what I see as more surface level definitions of who a human being is, right? Those are very statistical. Those are very number driven data. So in my opinion, demographics are important to define who you're serving, but what's even more important to get really crystal clear on is psychographics. So to begin, let's go over the demographics, but I don't want to dwell here. I don't want to spend all of our time here as you start to define who it is that you're serving. But when you think about this one customer base, this one community that you want to start serving in your creative business, start with those demographics. Start to define how old they are. What's the age range of who you're serving? What's their gender? Are they women? Are they men? Do they identify as a woman? Are they transgender? Who are you serving in your business specifically? What's their income level? What's their annual revenue? What type of job do they have? Do they work a full-time job? Do they work a part-time job? Are they self-employed? Are they supported by their partner and they fulfill their own creative dreams and goals while their partner supplies monetarily for the family? What is their income? What is their job? And what is their work? So those are just some basics to start to define for demographics of your audience, of your community. Once you've done that, let's move into psychographics because this is where it gets really juicy and you can start to see how your business plays a role in getting your customers' desires and needs met. So with psychographics, I want you to start to think about who your customer is, who your community is in terms of, first of all, what do they think about the world? Do they have a positive attitude? Do they have a positive outlook on life? What are some of their worldviews? Do they believe in social justice? Do they believe that fashion should be sustainable? Do they believe that healthy food should be accessible to all people? Really looking at their worldviews, their beliefs, their values. What do they value? Do they value environmental sustainability? Do they value joy? Do they value community? Do they value abundance? Do they value wealth? What are their values? Also start to look at what their dreams are. What does your community want in their own individual life? What do they dream of? What would make them the happiest person in the world if they got it? And as you start to define that dream, start to look deeper than that. Behind that dream that they hold for themselves in their life, what's the need? Because oftentimes what you can start to see is somebody who has a big dream for their life, they think they're going to feel a certain way when they get that dream. They think they're going to be happier. They think they're going to feel more at ease. They think they're going to feel more peace. They think they're going to feel something when they get to that point, more freedom, more independence, whatever it may be. And that feeling that they're after with the dream is fulfilling a need that they have. So what is your community's core need? What is it that they need more of in their life? Is it joy? Is it a solution to help them start their creative business? Is it learning a creative skill to give them more peace of mind and mindfulness in their day-to-day life? What is your community's core need? Now, rather than thinking about your community as a whole group of people right now, just hone in on one person in that community for defining these demographics, for defining this need, for defining this dream. I want you to think about this person that you're starting to imagine in your head as a real life person, someone who is real, someone who is alive. It might actually be somebody that you already know and that you've already served before or that you would love to serve in the future. It might be somebody in your friend group or in your family. Just start to really think about this person as a living, breathing being. So as you do that, again, what is their dream for their life? What is their core need? And what is the pain point? What's the thing that's a struggle for them? What is standing in the way of them achieving their need or achieving their desire? What transformation or change do they want in their life? When you're thinking about this, if you're thinking about your community of who you're serving as an individual person, again, maybe the change that they want is they want to learn how to watercolor paint so that they can experience more peace of mind and more mindfulness on a daily basis. On the other hand, if your main community that you're serving right now is a big company or big companies to license your artwork, maybe the change or transformation they desire is to have more beautiful artwork and working with artists who know the process of creating beautiful artwork to sell more of their products. Maybe their core need is to sell more products or to have a successful launch with their new line, and they need artwork that is going to sell that product for them. So you can really start to think about where your community is right now, where they want to be, and what transformation they need to go through to get there. In addition to that, start to think about what brands these community members shop at. Who do they support? Why do they support those brands? Is it because they like what the brand does, what the brand stands for? Is that brand in alignment with their own values? What brands do they shop? Then start to think about what the personality is of these community members. Are they lighthearted? Are they serious? Are they focused? Are they driven? Are they determined? Are they carefree? What is their personality like? Then go beyond that and start to think about what their interests are. What are their hobbies? What could they talk all day about? If you sat down with them over coffee, what would light them up as they started to talk about it? Really start to get clear on all of these questions about who it is that you're serving and get granular. Think of one single person in your community. Because when it comes to marketing, when it comes to messaging, when it comes to serving in your business, you're talking to one person in all of that. Yes, that reaches more people, but the more granular and focused and specific you can get on defining this one person, the more powerful your marketing and messaging will be. Okay, so now it's time to take action. I want you to sit down with a few sheets of paper and a pen and start to imagine this one person from your ideal community that your business will serve and define them. Write down their demographics, write down their psychographics, talk about what they desire, talk about where they shop, talk about what they do in any given day, their outlook on the world, their beliefs, their personality. Go into such granular detail that if they became real right off that page, they would be a real living, breathing human being. Once you've done that, join me in the next lesson where we will dive even deeper into what your community needs and how you can best serve them through your business. I'll see you there.